Before the panel gets going, I'm going to invite our final speaker, Derrick Blakeney, to the podium. Derrick is a freshman at Cardinal Hayes High School. His interests include STEM, basketball, and the stock market. His future includes a career in agricultural engineering. For his public debut speaking, Derrick Blakeney.
If we think back to when we were in quarantine, starting back in 2020, it was essential for students to have not only a working connection with the internet, but a high-speed connection. Access to high-speed internet was crucial for learning. I personally remember moments during quarantine when I would get kicked out of Zoom meetings because my connection was bad. Not only would this affect my learning at times, it would get frustrating and stressful, really stressful. Especially when I would be preparing for upcoming tests and find myself missing out on parts of lessons that were crucial and important for preparation. Imagine that happening to you. When that happened to me, I would have to take more time out of my day to learn the material that I missed out on. I could have been using that time more effectively on other subjects or skills. During those moments, I really wished I had a high-speed working internet connection. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derrick Blakeney, and I am a freshman at Cardinal Hayes High School. I am so honored to be in front of you all with the opportunity to speak and share my experience as a student who has benefited from broadband and high-speed internet. I think students and people who have access to high-speed internet have a meaningful advantage over those who don't. Just imagine the lives of students and their families who didn't have access to a computer or to the internet at home during the pandemic. How hard it must have been to learn the material from home and the extra mile they had to go to learn. And we know how important education is to prepare us to participate and benefit from the economy. Even though I was struggling a bit with the technology I was grateful that I had access to a computer and the internet. Online learning taught me that having access to technology is something we shouldn't take granted for. Not only was technology crucial to my learning, it was one of the ways for me to connect to friends and people in the outside world when we were stuck at home during the pandemic. I often used my phone to talk with friends from my school that I couldn't socialize with in person and contacting family members that lived far from me to check up on them. Without the internet, communications with others outside of my home would have been close to impossible and would have made me feel more isolated. I can only imagine how isolated and alone other students who didn't have the right to technology would have felt. For kids my age, socialization is an important part of our development, so not having technology during this time would have been depressing and sad for a kid with no connection to the outside world. During quarantine, my family had to cut down on spending, so in order for me to have my own spending money, I participated in a remote paid program my sister had discovered this program called the Animation Project. The Animation Project is a nonprofit organization that nurtures the social and emotional growth of young people using digital arts as a therapeutic medium and workforce development tool. Participants got paid to work with animators on new projects by collaborating with them on our ideas. Over the course of 8 weeks, I learned how to create animations, different ways to express myself through technology, and how to manage my emotions. Not only was this a space where I learned new skills, but it was a safe space for me to learn new ways to work through my current situation, even when I was feeling mixed emotions. This made me aware of the many ways technology could be used. High-speed internet and technology were vital during the pandemic, but it remains an important part of our future as a society, even after the pandemic. The pandemic opened the door to remote and hybrid working environments, inspired new forms of startup businesses, and encouraged us to interact with people on the other side of the world. I know that my family relied on the internet for education, for work, and for health. If you want an economy that works for all, it's important that everyone can have easy access to broadband. Thank you.